Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So, today we got a review for you and flight review on the new Samurai mini helicopter. This thing is really tiny, as you can see. Our remote is a full-sized remote. So just for a little size comparison here, it's tiny. It recharges from the remote from a connector in the back here, which I'm really not too fussy on. Because this is what happens. You plug it in and it kind of just hangs there. I mean, yeah, sure, the helicopter doesn't weigh a lot, but I kind of like the cable system a little bit better than this. Me personally, I mean, I don't know, I'd have to find something tall enough, but you know, I would want to make sure that that connection is a good connection, and you're going to know because it's either going to charge or not charge. So anyways, while you're charging, power indicator light will flash. Charge light is on solid. Once it's charged up, your power indicator actually goes out on this one, at least on mine, and my charge light stays on. So it's like, that's kind of screwed up. But anyway, hey, that's how it works. You'll know. Unplug it when you're done. You've got spring-loaded throttle. You don't need a lot of throttle to get this thing up in the air. It's actually really nice. Trim control here, it's a thumb wheel, nice location for it. Left, right, forward, backward. It's your typical 3-channel only helicopter. A 3.5 channel would give you speed control for, you know, faster, slower, as well as control over your lights. This is strictly 3-channel only, no control over the light, no control over your speed. Your speed is going to be dictated by how much you push forward at a time, right till you max it out. All right. Other helicopters, you know, you can be maxed here, still fly slow, flick a switch and you go faster. That's your 3.5 channel stuff. So something this size, I mean, they just, no requirement for that features, right? The light on this thing is actually extremely bright for a little white LED, and kind of works like a good little miniature flashlight too if you needed to, I suppose. So it's pretty neat. Your battery compartment, I took the screws out. Each battery tells you what direction it goes in underneath, so you can't mess that up. And you got 2 of them that aren't locked in place. You must make sure you get your orientation properly. Your 2 connectors are up top in here, which is the top of the remote. These 2 must face the top. So when you load it in, that's the top. Pop her in there. Clicker in place, put your screws back in, and lock it. You'll get, depending on the quality of batteries you have, but the Infinity cells, you can get an easy 10 to 12 recharges, right? You can use Dynax, you can use Energizers, Duracells. These are the 4 top brands that I actually use and like and work the best in my rechargeable RC stuff. And I also use the same batteries in the camera too. I have, well, had actually a Sony CyberShot, and you just replace the batteries, the 2 AA cells, and I use these batteries in it, and it worked great in those cameras. So they're actually a good quality battery is the thing here. All right, they're not dirt cheap, crappy batteries, you know, where you can get, you know, 50 batteries for 10 bucks. You know, those are like the epitome of, you know, very cheap. So you got to kind of, you know, use a decent quality battery if you want some performance and good recharge cycles out of the thing for recharging your toy with. I like the style of the controller. It's actually a little different than what I'm used to. This actually reminds me of an airplane. You know, you pull back, push forward, type of thing, right? It's neat, and it's great for small hands. It's great for bigger hands. I like the spring-loaded throttle on this one particularly. I've done mods where I've taken out the spring. Sometimes it's actually good on some. Sometimes actually you should have the spring in. This is one where I'd probably not mess with it. I'm going to leave the spring in because I actually like the control over it. Now this one here, it's got little traction tops on the knobs, which is nice, so you can just thumb it, you know, and you know, full digital proportion. So like I said, you start out the middle here, start moving forward until you come to the end, and that'll be your fastest speed. Left and right, you know, type of thing. Into the corners, round the clock. You know, anything that a regular 3-channel helicopter or a 3.5 channel helicopter does for flying. This thing does, with the exception of the half channel part. You don't have control over the light, you don't have control over tail rotor speed, other than your speed is only geared here. Where a 3.5 channel, your speed is not only geared here for forward and reverse, but it's also extra boosted with a booster switch. So this doesn't have the booster switch system, so, which is fine. It's a small tiny little thing, you know, and I'm sure they can only fit so much on these things. Now, a little bit more about the helicopter itself. Tiny rotor blade, fixed main blades. Okay, these are fixed. They don't flop around, you know, on a hinge system, like you would know most other helis, and including the small little Estes one I used to have. The blades would flop around, which is the way they're designed, and that's normal. But this is fixed, so if you smack into a wall, it's not going to give the same way the other ones would, which is fine. You can still smack it into a wall a few times and not do damage. I don't know how many hits this thing will actually take. I haven't tested that theory yet. I really prefer not to. Accidents happen, accidents happen. But they are very flexible blades. They are very forgiving, you know. They're just not a breakaway blade design. Your battery, you'll notice, is actually sticking out a little bit here. The battery is on this side, and it's specifically oriented in a certain way, and that's it. And it fits there, and believe it or not, things stay stable. It got me going at first because I was thinking, man, who puts a battery on the side? You know, that's just messy. But because of the way they made the heli, it has to go on the side, and there's no room in the front to put it in the front, you know. The battery is actually a little bigger than what you might think. I've had this thing apart, so it's a little bigger than I would have expected for a battery, but it proportionally works and does the job. I believe, if I remember, it's about an 80 or 85 milliamp, so it's pretty decent size battery. Recharge time is about 30-40 minutes, flight time about 6 minutes. Distance, I've had this out to about 25 feet in the house, and I can still control it. So it does pretty good that way. We, however, are going to do our flight review in this room because it's a small room, and I wanted to show this flying in a small room. And we're also going to try and darken the room as best as we can to show you this light and how well it works anyways, and as dark as we can get it. So overall, I'm going to give this helicopter some really good points. It's got a nice blade system. I like the fixed blade system on this one. You do get extra dog bones, and you get an extra tail rotor blade. Okay, so you get a little bit of parts, right? As far as extra parts go, I haven't investigated that yet, guys, so I don't know what's out there. I don't even know what's out there yet for cross-compatibility stuff yet. So give me some time, and then I'll let you know. Flight time, I'm going to give it a good, you know, rating there. It's got very good flight time. The landing gear is a little cheesy, but the material it seems to be made out of for the plastic that they're using is actually pretty durable. You know, so it should withstand quite a few crashes before it decides to crap out on you. With the weight of this heli and the impact it's going to take out, I mean, you should get a lot of dropouts without hurting your landing gear any, because it is very flexible. Plastic, it's not stiff and rigid, you know, so it's not going to go snap on you. You know, so that's actually pretty good. There's a bit of metal on this thing. There's a bit of plastic on this thing. You know, so it's kind of a mixture, and it's a good mixture. The wind that this thing produces is actually pretty phenomenal. You got little brass, what looks like brass anyways, counterweights on your balance bar, you know. Taking this thing apart is actually pretty simple and easy. You know, so we're not going to get into doing that today. We're not going to take it apart in little pieces. It works perfect, so we'll leave it alone. But if you do need to take it apart, it is very, very easy to take this thing apart, especially if you need to change the pinion gear at the back. Very simple. Pull the landing gear screws out, pop up the old one, put in a new one, put the landing gear back on. Remove your top assembly here for your rotor. That'll lift up everything in here. then you can get access to your front gear without even having to pull the canopy. You know, if you want to make your life easier, just pull the canopy and, you know, do it that way, but then you gotta fiddle with the battery and, you know, it can be a little bit frustrating. I've done it, so, you know, I wanted to see what was inside, you know, I gotta, right? So anyway, let's get on with our flight and show you how well this thing flies. We're actually gonna reset the camera in a different spot in the room to give us a little bit more wide open. So we're gonna shut it off here and then turn it right back on, and we'll actually take off from the table level here. Okay guys, so here's our flight review section of our video for the mini Samurai helicopter. Let's see how we do. As you can see, it'll hover really well. It's very stable in the air, and it's goes along quite quickly. I'm going to try my best to keep it within the camera view here. It buzzes along quite fast. So overall, I mean, it's pretty decent. So let's darken this room up, see how dark we can get it in here. It's about as dark as we're going to get it, so let's see what happens here. Oop, wipe out. Let's try that again. So it lights up things pretty good. I just don't want to get too close. I thought I'd try and show you how the light flashes against something. One more time. So as you can see, it's a pretty bright light. See how far I can push this again. Oop, damn it. I tried, guys, I tried. I was trying to light up the casings here for you. But as you can see, you can take some crashes, and, you know, the big thing is always let go of that throttle, especially when you know you're about to crash. Just let it drop. It's a lot easier on the helicopter that way. Less chance you're going to damage it. See how close I can get to the camera without smacking into it. And backwards flight. And we'll just spin it in one spot. See if I can get that in the camera there. The nice thing I like about my camera here too is I can actually flip the screen so I can see what I'm doing on the camera too, so I mean, even flying in a fairly dark room, I mean, it's not pitch black in here by any means, but it's pretty dark, you know, you can still see it, you can still control it rather well. That light actually does light things up nicely. Let's bring her in for a landing. Okay, so it flies great, guys. It really does. It's got a decent quality to it. You know, it's not like top of the line, but I mean, it's a good little heli, you know, overall. And it does fly nice. Recharge time is actually acceptable, 30 to 40 minutes. The fixed blade thing is actually nice for the rotor blades being fixed like that. Even if they were the floppy style, like on the other RCs here, you know, it wouldn't make a difference. You know, very small, fly in a small space. You can have a lot of fun, even in a room this size. You know, so this is not a very big room overall. You know, and so even in a room half the size of this, you could still have a lot of fun flying it. So very good little helicopter. Well worth the money. Good little investment. Very easy to maintain. You know, follow those rules like I said about the recharging and, you know, letting things cool down, that sort of stuff, and you'll get a lot of flights out of this helicopter. You know, and I have a lot of fun with it. And you know, the big bonus is for an indoor heli, fly it through the whole house. You know, I mean, our house isn't exactly majorly big here, but it's big enough that, you know, for something this size and proportion, you know, you can go around a lot of area, you know, and cover a lot of ground in that 5 to 6 minutes, and just have a hoot with it, you know. So overall, great little machine, like it a lot. Like I said, I do some more investigating too to find out if there are any other parts available for it, you know, if something breaks type of thing. But even if there isn't, you know, even if there isn't, but I'll do my best to find out. But even if it turns out there isn't anything extra for parts, you know, still, it's a good cheap little toy. It's a great way to get into this kind of RC stuff. It's fun for in the house. You can fly it all year round, not have to worry. You know, even I don't take my helicopters outdoors anymore in the winter. You know, I learned my lesson. And so I have a few indoor helicopters that I like flying inside, so this way all year round I can fly, don't have to worry about it. And this thing makes it that much more fun, you know. You know, it buzzes around quite quickly, as you're saying, you know, and so I think it's a good little helicopter. I really like it. So feel free to leave your comments. You got questions, you know, whatever. Do my best to answer them. But yeah, nice little machine. We'll definitely see you on the next video too.